Alrighty guys, so you can see there's a Pajero shaped hole here. The Pajero's gone out to paint. So we're going to have a look at mocking up and looking at the exhaust system today. Just to start on it, we don't have a welder, but we can start with, I've got a few supplies and stuff like that. We have 3-inch stainless tube, so we have a few V-bands and stuff, so we'll go through all that. But first, we need to clean that countertop, get this place right so that we can actually get some work done. We'll check back with you in a second.
I'm feeling high.
So the bench is a little bit cleaner now, so we can kind of get an idea of what we're going to do today. There's quite a little bit to get through to get you kind of up to date with what's happened with the project so far in relation to the exhaust system. So as you might have known, I'm moving slowly on the exhaust system because I'm waiting to get, and the intercooler pipe work, because I'm waiting to get a welder. Now the funds have to be saved up for the right kind of welder to do the job. I want to get a TIG welder, I want to get gas, all that kind of thing. I've been through that before. You get it. It's expensive, so we have to save up. So what I did was I ordered some parts from China in the meantime, and some of them have come in. And then what I did recently was I got some what we call dairy pipe in Ireland. It's sanitary pipe. 3-inch sanitary pipe, 304 stainless. It's the right job for it, seamless. That's why you go for sanitary, because there's no seam. If I can get a picture in there, so that's ideal for this. So what I got was a couple of 90-degree bends. I got a couple of 45s. I have some heat wrap, and the reason for that, even though it might end up looking alright, this downpipe, it's going to be going past the steering box inside the engine bay, so it's probably better just to keep the heat into it. As well, I believe, I don't know the full details of it, but I believe a diesel will actually perform better when the exhaust temperatures are kept warm at that point, that they don't get too hot obviously inside the engine, but the actual keeping the heat inside the exhaust is obviously a good thing for turbo efficiency as well, apparently. I have got this from China, which is the Flexi. It's totally stainless steel, 100% stainless steel, which is good. Maybe the mesh might not be stainless steel, I don't know, but everything feels right. It's not magnetic. It's not magnetic enough like mild steel would be. Even the very best stainless steel, or some of the greatest stainless steel, will have a magnetic element to them. They are ferrous, but they don't necessarily have a very strong magnetic pull. So that doesn't have very strong. That has pretty much nothing. And then I got these V-bands. So I got 3 of these V-bands. These cost me €16 each, and what I found on local eBay that matched these was coming in at €33 each. So I think that's a win. I got 3 of these. They are male and female. So this is kind of what you want to be looking out for when you're looking for a V-band. So most of the ones you'll see that are €16 are flush. There's no male or female element to them. They're just 2 flush flanges. And these ones, let me see. You can see it has a little ridge and inset step in it there, running along this point here where my finger is. And the reverse of that being the female, this is the male. It has it stepped out, which is perfect, so that when these two sit together, they don't move. Now, the one plus side of, let's say, the eBay one for €33 was, I think they had a quick release, whereas this does not have it. Has no quick release on it. It just basically receives that there, and then screws through, threads through. The quick release, I can only see it being an issue or something you want if you're constantly taking on and off your exhaust for modification stuff. Like, maybe that'll happen, but I think I can deal with a 10 mil nut on it and screw it off. I mean, the other alternative is your normal 3 nuts or 2 nuts anyway, nut and bolt situation. So it's still far better than that for ease of assembly. So that's that side of it. And actually, I'll just show you here this 3-inch. This might be a bit more difficult to do. I never really got the floor cleaned in here, so I've still got boxes everywhere. I've actually had a little mock-up of this, and we're looking kind of good space-wise. So your 3-inch fits down at that angle there, and then you will put I will put the 45. I think the 45 is going to be coming across like that, and then that gets me, when this turbo is raised, that will get me somewhat straight line across here into the turbo, and we've got a fairly nice, neat setup in that. What I do need to figure out is I need to figure out where I'm going to mount a bracket and what style of bracket to use inside that tight gap. I can mount it to the body of the car, but I believe that's a no-no because the resonance of a change of the engine moving where the body doesn't move can cause cracking and everything. So the other alternative then is that I take one of these manifold nuts off, and I put my bracket onto that, screw down the manifold nut and hang it off that, which might be the right way to do it. I just don't know what is commonplace for people to do. I could also, where the EGR pipe came out there, I could weld a little tab onto that if I really wanted to get into it, and have some kind of system where it expands at a different rate, and that's okay, like an elongated slot in it, so that when you bolt two together, they can actually, if you can imagine, you have one piece coming off here and another piece coming off the exhaust, but they're elliptical, or the slot is elliptical, so that it can move independent of each other very, very slightly under enough tension from it heating up and cooling down. I don't know, I'm gonna have to do some more research. I don't know what is commonplace for that. But anyway, that's another day's problem. At the moment we've got that 45 coming out there, and it will be slightly out of angle. So what I will need to do is I will need to be able to basically clock it, and be able to put on a different angle there to bring it back straight. And I'm going to have to do that plenty of times. So my first idea, these lengths come in 6 meter, these straight lengths come in 6 meter lengths. It's far more than I need. And my first idea is I'm going to cut down a meter of that, and I'm going to bring that meter with me to cut on a really high quality bandsaw, drop saw bandsaw. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out pie cuts. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with either a 15 degree overall or an 18 degree overall. 15 degree, 3 of them will make up a 45, 6 will make up a 90, or the 18 degree, you can do it 45, isn't it? 5 of them will make up your 90 degree, but you would be harder to get your 45. So that's my intention, and I'm just going to go through how I'm going to go about that. So a couple of tricks that I was told about by, I couldn't find any of this online, actually, believe it or not. Not all of it, but some of it. But what I was told about from guys that were in the metalworking industry for years and years. Some of the tricks that I was told was stuff, I'll go through them as I come across it. The likes of this here. So you can see this cable tie. So I made my mark there on the meter. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut alongside that cable tie. So you just seemingly if you throw a plastic cable tie don't worry about that moving in and out. That's me moving it back and forth. It's even if you put like a plastic cable tie around a pipe, you will get a close to, not perfect, but close to a straight cut. So I'm going to now, I've got my meter marked out from there to there, and I will obviously, when I get them into a proper lovely bandsaw setup, I will straighten that cut, and I'll straighten the far cut as well. But I'm going to cut that down, and then we have a meter length, and then I can go through kind of the mats and how I'm going to get my my pie cuts. Okay, so we got that cut. It's basically a meter. This side, when I picked up the tube that comes in 6 meter lengths, I had to cut it down in the car park, so I had to sort of do it freehand. So these will have to be squared off anyway, but that is quite close to a square cut. There is a notch in it. Just there, you can see one there. Is there another one there? Yeah, there's one just there as well. So it's not a perfect system. I'm sure with practice that will work. Like the guys, that's the kind of guys that were telling me to do it. I don't doubt that they know their stuff. Equally, I imagine you could, if you wanted to, go off what you know a certified flat cut is. You grind it to that and then just spin the piece. But this will work in and out as it spins. Anyway. That is something we're going to have to tackle. I think I'm going to just use the bandsaw that I have access to outside of here as much as possible, but I mean, I'm not going to put off an entire day's work just because I can't do a cut right. I will just try and make it work. But anyway, that's not for now. So what we're going to do is what we need to do to get these pie cuts right is we need to get a line going along the length of the tube, and that is the halfway point basically, and then we can spin it and we can get the line going the opposite way, so that when the eventual bandsaw comes to, or when I go to chop it with the bandsaw, I can dial in my degree of the cut, if you know what I mean. I can either have the line running top, or I can have it running on the outside here. Here. At least I'm giving a point, if you know what I mean. I need 2 lines though, so I can do that cut, bang. What I can do is I can pull it, turn it till that line lines up there, do the same cut, and then we will be left with a piece of pie, as they say, a pie cut. That's my system. I'm hoping that when I get to the bandsaw, the lights of the clamp will have little datum lines in them. Sometimes they do, like you have a line just halfway through the clamp, and I can just run my marker line around to that, you know what I mean, and flip it back this way, and keep working my cuts going out. So I need to then work out where the center line is from this, so to be able to draw a center line on it. So my idea is that I will be able to use this certified, this is structural engineered steel, so it's perfectly straight and everything like that and everything well. I can run my marker along there, that will give me a straight line, and then all I have to do is just be able to measure out what the opposite side perfect halfway point will be. Now that is where our junior cert or leaving cert level, can't remember, mathematics in it, it's junior cert, isn't it? It's like first year in secondary school here. Anyway, so basically what I did was I got a pre-cut, as in the factory cut piece of that steel. So let's say it was a length like that. That was the factory cut. Placed it down on the card and then got my pen and drew around it. So that gave me my outer diameter, or my outer circumference of the tube. So then all I had to do was get my calipers and measure edge to edge, which we now know is 76 millimeter from edge to edge. And then we basically multiply that by pi, which gives me the 238.64 millimeters. And then basically after that, that gives my entire circumference. So then I want to just get my halfway point, so I divide that by 2. it gives me a reading of 119.32, which is awful. Isn't it awful? Wouldn't it be nicer if that was 120 or something like that, but it's not. It's 119.32. So, what we need to do then is I'm going to draw my line, and I might pause the camera or leave the camera going on the side, and you can see this and kind of fast forward. Get my line going across here, and then at that point I intend on getting my tape measure, putting it to the line at, let's say, 10 mil past or 100 mil past the line, and then basically bring that round to 219.5 probably, but we'll go with 3.2 at the moment. Wrapping that around from that 10 mil or that 100 mil mark, and that will give me my opposite side. So all I have to do is put my finger on that, where my marker line is, put my finger down, turn the tube until it comes around the other way, and then I get my halfway mark, and then I can just scroll that along to here and do the same line across. So that's the theory of it. I'm going to put the camera down and we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, so we're kind of measured out here. So you might have seen there just in that video how I did that. So basically I just ran it alongside. It would have been nicer if I had, you see how thin that line is? That's nice. Gets a bit thick here. The marker I was using wasn't fantastic. All my good stuff is in my toolbox at work. But basically you see how I did it. So I drew my line along here, nice and gentle. Moved it forward and back just because that piece of metal isn't long enough for it, but so there will be slight inaccuracies based upon that. And then I put the tape on a 10 mil or 100 mil, wrapped it around till we got to 22 or 219.35. Well, half, let's say, 'cause I'm not going to get perfect on a half mil, and then just ran it along again. So now I have, you see that? I've got one line. This is the exact opposite of the opposite side of that line. So I will be able to get my cuts going on that. Now there's a couple of other things that might occur to people, and there is other aspects to this, which is the likes of when it comes to the welding side of it, making sure that everything is lovely and clean, prepping it all right. So I'm going to have to use some Scotch-Brite on that, get that all nice and cleaned out and reamed, and then wipe down with acetone on both surfaces, so that will keep my welds nice and clean and everything like that. The only other thing is kind of getting a perfect fit. So there's one of the V-bands on there, and that has a good fit. Inside there's a little bit, as you can see, obviously that cut is rough, but you can see that these V-bands have a little bit of a lip in them, which is actually, I don't mind that. It's only very, very minor. It will still be a very nice exhaust system when it's done. I might polish these up as well at the same time, or at least clean them up. Apparently I can get a Scotch-Brite on an angle grinder, which is different to your normal flat disc. So that might get that cleaned up for me. So yeah, that's a start, guys, on the exhaust. As I say, I'm waiting on the funds to get a welder. There's a few other things I've ordered. I ordered a bigger face shield, if you know what I mean, the shield that has a bigger open area that will be kept in a bag for TIGGing. The TIGGing in general, I'm kind of excited to learn it, but I'm very apprehensive. Like I nearly was just going to get a local guy to weld up the entire exhaust for me, If it goes on too long, I might end up actually mocking up my pieces here, drawing a marker and letting him, bring it into him, get him to weld the bead around it, come back, mock up the next piece, bring it back in, get him to weld the piece. That might well be something I have to do. I'm hoping that I'll be able to just learn how to TIG it myself and kind of get the job done.